This
presently holding the
conference will
charge
now be recorded.
she is presently holding the charge of this prestigious institute, that is IKG PTU Mohali Campus 2. So I will go brief into Madam's biodata. So she has completed her MSc Geology in the year 2002 and then did her PhD in the year 2008 from Punjab University, Chandigarh. So Madam has a large number of sponsored projects affiliated to her name. She is also a DST member expert for an exclusive program for women scientists in the field of geospatial technology and also a member of Technical Committee Haryana Saraswati Heritage Development Board. And Dr. Sharma was awarded Dr. D.S. Kothari Fellowship for Postdoctoral Research at Delhi University. So Madam did her postdoctoral in the year 2009 to 2010 at the Center of Advanced Studies in Geology, Delhi. And then she joined as assistant professor, Department of Geology in Himachal University. And after that, she joined her present post as well as present institute in the year 2014. And presently, she is working in the School of Built Environment, IKG PTU campus, to Mohali. So she has published a large number of research papers in the reputed journals. So she has published 20 research papers in reputed journals, as well as 15 papers are in conferences, and she has also organized 7 number of workshops. So with these words, I welcome Dr. Mukta Sharma to this platform, and now I will request her to please start with her presentation. So welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, organizers, for this esteemed opportunity to be interacting interacting with the faculty associated and the number of students as well. And my apologies for lots so many inconveniences which have been caused at my end in this morning. I'm really sorry for that. So I really hope you all are doing fine at your respective places. In this pandemic, we are going through a tough time. So I'm sure all must be taking all precautions of physical distancing as well as all the directions which are being issued by Government of India and state government time to time, and will be engaged productively in our daily course as well. So once again, a very good morning to all of you. The topic which has been given to me, or which I'm interested in delivering a talk today, is groundwater analytics. There is a disclaimer before I start with this. As Bohar Singh ji has introduced me, I'm basically a geologist. I'm definitely not a hydrogeologist, not a groundwater expert as well. I'm basically an engineering geologist who has been trained into in the stream of geomatics, like geospatial technologies. But in recent years, because of my students, I would say, my research team, my colleagues, we have developed lot of interest in groundwater analytics. So in today's talk, I will be sharing all the works which are being done by our research team, and specifically that why it is so relevant to talk about, why it is so important to talk about groundwater nowadays. I was checking the schedule day before yesterday. Sahuji also from PRSC Ludhiana, he delivered a talk on groundwater itself, that how geospatial technologies are helping in the water conservation and management. And now you can very well understand that so many people are talking about water. So it must be something very serious about it. There must be many serious concerns regarding it. That's why the main concern of our research group is also this, that these are the various concerns which I have put before you. You see that what are the issues with water resource management? India has 17% of world's population. You see, we are one of the most densely populated country of the world, and we have just 4% of world's water resources. Now, only 4%. 17. We are 17% in world's population, but we have 4% of world's water resources. Imagine the stress we have at this moment. Now, What are the other issues? If we see for agriculture, we see that around 80 to 85% for agriculture, we are dependent upon this. Now, 80 to 85% rivers, groundwater. For industrial use, 8 to 10% dependency is there. For domestic use, 5 to 7% dependency is there. Now, majorly we are using for agriculture, but these are the roles which we are dependent upon. But efficiency in India, the problem is efficiency. If we increase the efficiency for even 10 to 15%, ना अगर 10 से 15% भी हम ज़्यादा efficient हो जाते हैं अपनी water management में, lot of water would be available for domestic use. If we talk about developing countries like Malaysia, like China, there is 50 to 55% efficiency. अगर हम इजराइल की बात करते हैं तो there is 95% efficiency. Normally, in all the developed countries, the efficiency of management of water is 60 to 75%. So this is very important sector to look into as far as water resource management is concerned. We have a declining per capita capacity. You see these figures per person from 5200 meter per cube 1947 का ये statistics है, and you see declining per capita availability from 5200 meter cube to 1500 meter cube per year in year 2017. Any country, I would like to mention here, any country which has a per capita capacity less than 1500 per meter cube is called as a water stressed country. So you can think of that we are already a water stressed country. अगर 1000 मीटर क्यूब के नीचे आ जाता है तो उसको वाटर स्केर्स कंट्री कहा जाता है ना. तो we have to use water more judicially, and groundwater level is going down because we are over exploiting our resources. There is over exploitation of groundwater. Yes, climate change is also an issue. It is a very big issue. There is an increase of extreme events like floods, droughts, because of the global warming. Lot of water, many of the glaciers are melting upon. Climate change is also an issue, and there are the critical components of groundwater management because of the population growth as well. The way we are expanding, especially the way the population is migrating from the rural to urban and semi-urban areas, it is also a major cause of this. Now you see this report is from Times of India, dated 25th November 2019, where Union Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat is admitting that 22% of India's groundwater has dried up or in a critical state. इसमें और भी ज़्यादा alarming क्या है कि ये जो सेंट्रल ग्राउंड वाटर की जो रिपोर्ट है इसमें ये बताया गया है कि ये जितने भी ओवर एक्सप्लॉइटेड एरियाज हैं इनमें these are, ये जो 22% की हम बात कर रहे हैं, these belong to this part belong to the state of Punjab, to the state of Haryana, Delhi and Western Uttar Pradesh. उससे भी ज्यादा बात क्या है, where even though replenishable resources are abundant, there is indiscriminate withdrawal of groundwater, which is leading to the over exploitation. Now, how alarming the situation is. Now, you can very well understand how important is water resource management. Water resources are calling, they are calling for addressing these key issues of storage, of conservation, and subsequently their utilization, conservative utilization, sustainable utilization. Now, there are two major issues with the increasing urbanization across the globe. One is quality and another is quantity of groundwater. Quality and quantity. ना हम सब civil engineering के students हैं. We all are learning, daily course में हम learn भी कर रहे हैं. हम जानते हैं कि water resources कितने dynamic होते हैं. They undergo significant changes with the change land use patterns. Rapid industrialization, population growth, all these have accelerated land use changes globally, and they have a severe impact on groundwater resources. Therefore, accurate monitoring and management of these water resources is must. वो accurate monitoring और management कैसे होगी? अगर हम अपना estimate करें कि हमारी potential groundwater zones कितनी है, what is the estimated, हमारे पास wealth कितनी है groundwater resources की, what is the assessment of groundwater quality, and we need to assess the vulnerability index also, that what are the key potential threat zones which are interfering our groundwater और जो हमारी उस quality को degrade कर रहे हैं. If I talk about our ancient wisdom, we are a country, from the time immemorial we had this vision. From thousands of years we had this knowledge and wisdom which is rarely available in any other civilization. Ever since we have civilization, water had been very, very significant for us. हम उस लैंड के लोग हैं जहाँ पर जल को देखने की दृष्टि, जिसको बोलते हैं जल को देवता मानना, नदियों को देवी मानना. This is the water prayer of Rig Veda. When I was preparing for this presentation, I have extracted this water prayer from a report of Planning Commission. Now you see what it says: the water of sky, the water of rivers, and water in the well, whose source is the ocean. May all these sacred waters protect me. ना हमें हमारी दृष्टि जो है पानी को देखने की, it is देव तुल्य. ना we had not been exploiting water since time immemorial. हम पानी को वेस्ट नहीं करते थे. Study of our scriptures, they reveal that ancient thinkers such as Saraswati, Manu, with this scientific bent, were not only interested in exploring in the means of storing rainwater, but also exploring the methods to locate groundwater sources. बहुत सारी संस्कृत की बुक्स हैं, बृहद संहिता है, वराह मिहिरा है, अर्थशास्त्र है, वो डिस्क्राइब करती हैं कि जो हमारा अर्थ का इंटीरियर है, it is full of water channels, like there are veins in the human body, which is further subdivided into hundreds and thousands of streams at different levels, causing life of different plants and trees on the earth. The works, they claim that on the basis of these plants and trees, groundwater resources can be explored in the areas where surface water is not available. So where were we at the time? Rig Veda के जो inscriptions हैं, ना, it is more than 5,000 years. The true dating is still not available. लेकिन जो timing of events है उससे ये हमें ध्यान में आता है. So from the time immemorial, we are carrying this ancient wisdom. So what are the current organizations? हमारे देश में कौन-कौन सी organizations इस समय काम कर रही हैं इस alarming situation से हमें निकालने के लिए? हमारे पास एक separate ministry है, जल शक्ति मंत्रालय, जल संसाधन नदी विकास और गंगा संरक्षण विभाग. We have Central Groundwater Board. We have National Remote Sensing Center, Indian Space Research Organization, जिसका एक वारिस, that is Water Resource Information System, which is completely, totally dedicated for the water resource management. We have various research organizations like National Institute of Hydrology, Roorkee, who are continuously working in this field. So before we understand this, we need to understand the sustainability, जिसको हम time immemorial से जानते हैं, उसको आज की डेट में उसकी relevance कितनी ज़्यादा बढ़ गई है. We understand theoretically we are very good. What is sustainability? Yes, we need to meet our needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. Now, we cannot compromise to the needs of our future generations. And what is water sustainability? This is our ability to provide and manage water quantity and quality to meet the present needs of humans, of environmental ecosystems, without impairing the future generations to do the same. Now, we cannot compromise. हम आज की डेट में अपने लिए सब रख लें, and we are not conserving for the future generation. We do not belong to those thoughts. How do we do that? हम इसको achieve कैसे करेंगे? सबसे पहले the assessment of our resources. वो assessment कैसे हो सकती है? By mapping and monitoring the water resources. comprehensive water management plan is required for suitable conservation and utilization of water resources. And in this, space technology, remote sensing technology plays a crucial role in managing countries' available water resources. We need to have systematic approaches involving judicious combination of conventional ground measurements, I'm repeating, and remote sensing techniques. They are paving a way for achieving optimum planning and operational of water resources projects. The repetitive coverage which is being given by remote sensing satellites, it effectively complements this data, conventional data, to monitor the progress and impact. In very few slides, I shall be telling you, I shall be trying to give the overview that how our national agencies are trying to map and monitor the water resources. Now, why remote sensing and GIS? क्योंकि रिमोट सेंसिंग और GIS से हम बहुत सारे डेटा को बहुत सिस्टमैटिकली ऑर्गेनाइज कर सकते हैं, मॉडल कर सकते हैं. There is lot of data available which is of very high quality, which can determine the reliability and validity of groundwater analysis. Geographical information system, it is a very powerful tool. It is a database which is helpful in managing the groundwater resources, in vulnerability analysis, in any kind of hydrogeological modeling we have to deal with. And if we integrate this GIS technology, which is driven out from the remotely sensed data, this can be instrumental for sustainable development and groundwater management. So what is the need? Need is कि बहुत सारे लोग, बहुत सारे research groups इसमें आगे आए. They should be exploring the use of remote sensing and GIS in groundwater modeling, and so that they can propose suitable methods for groundwater analytics. अभी तो smart cities के concept आ रहे हैं. Now, how Government of India has taken initiative to develop the groundwater management is the integral part of it. Now, and it is the most important, one of the most important part of it. Remote sensing है क्या? What is remote sensing? बार बार हम बोल रहे हैं कि remote sensing and GIS are very powerful tools. So this is the science where we are obtaining information about the object, about the area or a phenomena without being in physical contact with the objects. Remote sensing, it is a process through which we see. हम आंखों से जो देख रहे हैं, हम remotely sense कर रहे हैं. Now, how we are seeing that? It is restricted to the method. We are utilizing the energy waves which are in the environment. We are using the electromagnetic radiation. We are trying to tap that energy, and these resources, these energies like light, heat, radio, these are the means of identifying and collecting information about the objects. तो हमारे पास एक uniform energy source है. We have sun, ना, जो continuously rays हमें दे रहा है, energy दे रहा है. This energy is being interacted upon by various objects of the earth. जो objects हैं वो अर्थ के कुछ इस एनर्जी को absorb करते हैं, कुछ एनर्जी को emit करते हैं और कुछ इस एनर्जी को reflect back कर देते हैं. Now, all the objects, they interact differently with this energy, and this response, this difference in interaction process is being captured by the sensors. वो sensors जो हमने satellites के through स्पेस में डिप्लॉय किए हैं, ये हर एक उस यूनिक रिस्पांस को कैप्चर करते हैं और ये यूनिक रिस्पांस हमें हेल्प करता है हमें रियल टाइम इंफॉर्मेशन देने में, उस पूरे के पूरे एरिया को मैप करने में, मॉनिटर करने में. एंड दिस डेटा इज फर्दर disseminated. This information is given to various multiple data users. Now, this is another picture which is showing you we have a solar energy, how the energy waves are interacting, electromagnetic radiations वो किस तरह से react कर रही हैं. This energy is moving back, captured by sensors. Sensors platforms पे होते हैं. Platform space borne भी हो सकते हैं, airborne भी हो सकते हैं, और आजकल drones, UAVs भी हैं. ना. We have so many these nowadays. So what is this kind of mapping providing us? हमें क्या मिल रहा है remote sensing से? किस तरह की information मिल रही है in respect to water? We can estimate rainfall. We can go ahead with snow and glacier studies, irrigation water management, reservoir sedimentation, watershed management, water quality assessment, groundwater assessment, prospecting of groundwater, planning and implementation of number of developmental activities, infrastructure development, disaster management, and environmental monitoring. So this is helping us in number of various sectors. Now you see, we have this. This is telling you that how we are imaging from space. We map the Earth. Now look at the images. From where do we get this information? There are 4 kind of orbits. Now, we have geostationary satellites, we have low Earth observational satellites, and we have airborne or UAV satellites. क्या difference है इन satellites में? जो geostationary satellites हैं, वो Earth geostationary है ना? These are not sun synchronous. These are moving at a height of more than, जिसको बोलते हैं thousands of kilometers. Satellite is stationary with respect to Earth, and these help in mapping the dynamic phenomena of the Earth. जितना भी atmosphere का monitoring है, management है, weathering, जितने climate IMD जो satellites use करते हैं, these are all geostationary satellites. इनकी height है 36,000 किलोमीटर. Low Earth, obviously इनका जो resolution होता है वो coarse होता है. Then we have low Earth observation satellites, which are moving at a height of 6,000 kilometers. जिस तरह से resource sat है, cartosat है, landsat है, ना ये fine resolution satellites हैं. Then we have airborne satellites. पहले photography, aerial photography was very common. लेकिन nowadays the drones, the UAVs have taken up that aerial photography. तो जो एयरबॉर्न सैटेलाइट से प्लेटफॉर्म से हमें इंफॉर्मेशन मिलेगी, जो सिनॉप्टिक कवरेज मिलेगी, वो बहुत ही फाइन रेजोल्यूशन में मिलेगी ना. सो दीज आर फोर काइंड ऑफ ऑर्बिट्स ना. हाउ वी आर रिट्रीविंग इंफॉर्मेशन from the space. Through these satellites we are getting all near real time hydrologic information, real time flood mapping जैसे हो रही है, स्नो लाइन रिसीड हो रही है, बढ़ रही है, पानी का वॉल्यूम इंक्रीज डिक्रीज हो रहा है. दैट इज द रियल टाइम इंफॉर्मेशन. टेम्पोरल इंफॉर्मेशन, जो रिविजिट टाइम है अगर वो सैटेलाइट का, टेम्पोरल रेजोल्यूशन क्या होता है कि एक सैटेलाइट एक जगह पर इट इज रिविजिटेड द सेम प्लेस आफ्टर नंबर ऑफ वीक्स, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe 21 days, or some satellites even monthly or 2 months. तो एक ही जगह की इंफॉर्मेशन हमें टेम्पोरली सेम प्लेस बट एट डिफरेंट टाइम्स. स्पेशली जो एग्रीकल्चरल कवरेज है, रबी और खरीफ क्रॉप्स हैं, उनका चेंज देखने के लिए, दैट हाउ मच चेंज देयर हैड बीन इन द लैंड कवर. So we use this kind of resolution, temporal information. Then we get the spatial information and we get the total synoptic coverage. More fine the resolution, more accurate spatial information we get. ना आप इसमें कुछ satellite images देख सकते हैं, कुछ pictures को देख सकते हैं. अभी हम आगे बढ़ेंगे. I'll be showing you number of pictures from the space, how these are being captured. So these are the various Earth observation systems for water resources. आप अगर इसमें देखेंगे from very high resolution का मतलब 0.5 meters, less than 1 meter. अभी आजकल कार्टोसैट, क्विकबर्ड, वो इतने स्पेशल इंफॉर्मेशन पर भी हमें, इतने रेजोल्यूशन पर भी हमें इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहे हैं. There were the times of Landsat. There were the times of the Modi satellite, MODIS. उसका रेजोल्यूशन कितना है? स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन 30 मीटर्स. मोदीज का कवरेज क्या है? 250 मीटर्स. उस रेजोल्यूशन से लेकर अभी टेक्नोलॉजी इतना एडवांस हुई है कि हम इवन इंडियन सैटेलाइट Now, list 3 gives the coverage of 23.5 meters, list 4 gives the coverage of 5.8 meters, and the Cartoset, Cartoset more than 2 and Cartoset 2S and all, they give the information at less than 0.5 meters. How accurate we are in getting information with the help of this remote sensing technology, we can well think of. जो नेशनल रिमोट सेंसिंग सेंटर है NRSC, उनका एक डेडिकेटेड पोर्टल है WRIS पोर्टल, WRIS, वाटर रिसोर्स इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम. That WRIS portal individual is a host of 108 thematic layers related to water. जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन आप चाहते हैं, आप एक पर्टिकुलर स्केल पे वहां से डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं. इट इज फ्रीली अवेलेबल फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ रिसर्च. So how advanced we are in terms of technology and in dissemination and sharing of data. This is the list of various sensors which are being used. ना पर्पस क्या है इन सभी सेंसर्स का? कार्टोसेट की जैसे मैंने बात की, इरिगेशन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर मैपिंग, pre-feasibility studies of new irrigation projects. Resource Act list 4 है, क्रॉप मैपिंग में काम आता है. विलेज लेवल पर reservoir sedimentation studies, ना pre-feasibility studies of new irrigation projects. List 3, it helps in cropping pattern in irrigation commands. जो रिसोर्स AWIPS है, वो सीजनल क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न को स्टडी करने के काम आता है. मोडीज जो डेटा है वो स्नो कवर एरिया मॉनिटरिंग के काम में आता है. जैसे कि मैंने बताया, उसका रेजोल्यूशन बहुत कोर्स है, तो ये बहुत बड़ी सिनॉप्टिक कवरेज देता है, इसका स्वैथ भी बहुत ज्यादा है. तो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन what kind of research we intend to do, what is our interest area, we choose the sensor, we choose the satellite data according to that. This देखिए आप 5.8 meter पर you can see a canal is going on. Now this is a canal. We can very well delineate the various roads. We can delineate the water bodies. We can delineate the agricultural land और जितना भी city anthropogenic activity का land है, जितना भी ये settlement area है, उसको भी delineate कर सकते हैं. Cartoset area में 2.5 meter by 2.5 meter है, and this is the information which is available at 1 meter 65 centimeter and even 25 centimeter. तो कितनी minute information. I'm sure आप सब लोग Google Earth explore करते होंगे, तो उसमें quick birth data, बहुत सारे data daily update होते हैं, और कितना finely we can even locate our house. We can locate the moving car on the roads, ना, on the Google Earth data itself. So let's have a quick view on the various NRSC initiatives in water resource management. NRSC is working under Ministry of Water Resources. There is a national hydrology project. जो national hydrology project है, उसका जो main component है, the main job is to forecast the flood, early warning using space and aerial inputs. They are estimating the water balance components. They are estimating the snow cover areas, glacier lakes, evaporation, transpiration, irrigation scheduling studies. So all these areas, they are even working for the capacity building for selected water resources engineers of the country. This is such a big project which is encompassing almost each and every regional area. है ना? तो जितना भी हमारा disaster management monitoring आता है, it is being covered under this national hydrology project. There is a dire need to monitor the irrigation infrastructure. Irrigation infrastructure क्या होता है? Canals हैं, regulators, cross drainage structures जो siphons बनाते हैं. So there is a need for the comprehensive monitoring during the construction phase itself. ना? तो उसकी monitoring के लिए the project is being taken by Central Water Commission of India, again under Ministry of Water Resources, and this kind of assessment of irrigation infrastructure is being done. Reservoirs, they lose their storage capacity due to sedimentation. So reservoirs की monitoring बहुत ज़्यादा required है, उनकी periodic assessment बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी रहती है, so that we can ascertain कि उस reservoir की कितनी capacity है. Now, conventionally, the assessment of sediment deposition on the reservoir is carried out either by inflow or outflow measurement. It is the conventional method. लेकिन satellite से हम सोच सकते हैं that how easy it is, how easy and how systematic it has become to monitor this with the help of satellite data. Water resources assessment. We need to have the assessment of water resource availability in our country, because this is very important for the planning and for the optimal management of available water resources. So we have a Central Water Commission. They have estimated that water resource potential for our country is 1869 billion cubic meter, BCM, 1869 BCM, है ना? ये किस बेसिस पर असेस करते हैं? ये मिनिस्ट्री ने भी किस बेसिस पर असेस किया है? उन्होंने पूरा synoptic thematic layers are being prepared for land use, land cover, the topography of the area, what is the slope pattern, what is the soil, what is the groundwater flux, irrigation command, population density कितनी है, urban area कितना है, rural area कितना है, rainfall के estimate, कितना rainfall हमने experience किया है ना? इन सारी चीजों की assessment के बाद इस ग्राउंड वाटर को थ्रू विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी वाटर रिसोर्सेज कैन बी असेस्ड. नाउ दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्टडी. केन बेटवा आपके ध्यान में होगा, ये यमुना की ट्रिब्यूटरीज हैं, दोनों ट्रिब्यूटरीज. इट लाइज इन द पार्ट ऑफ नदरन मध्य प्रदेश. तो जो केन रिवर है, बिकॉज द बुंदेलखंड पार्ट इज अ ड्रॉट प्रोन एरिया, तो व्हाट आर दे प्रपोजिंग कि जो केन का पानी है, केन ट्रिब्यूटरी का पानी है, वो बेटवा में उसको शिफ्ट करना है. सो दिस स्टडी इज बीइंग कैरिड आउट. इस तरह से कंटूर्स का रिकंस्ट्रक्शन हुआ, क्लोजली स्पेस्ड विद द हेल्प ऑफ कार्टोडीएम डेटा, एंड दिस project was initiated to finalize the probable dam site. This helps in the DEM study of these areas like this. They help in finalization of probable dam sites and potential command areas and even submergence areas, because we can map all the contour levels. क्योंकि हमने जब हम digital elevation model बनाते हैं, so with the help of contour analysis, all these studies can be done. So there is a mapping and a project of mapping and monitoring of surface water bodies across the country, which is being monitored by automated water body extraction. Now, automated ये extraction हो रही है with the help of algorithms which are being developed to process a huge satellite data from multiple sensors across the IRS satellites. Now, so this is these are the various achievements and various projects where NRSE has taken a lead, and they are working very comprehensively in these sectors. This is another project by NRSE regarding the snow cover mapping and monitoring of the area, how snow lines are receding and how it is changing the volume of water in the river as well. So during the years 2012 to 2016, the seasonal forecast was provided for these months. Now, the satellite derived inputs like snow cover, snow surface temperature, snow emissivity, these were used to compute the net radiation, and this formed the basis कि कितना net radiation है, उससे ये estimate किया गया that how much snow was melted, and it was run off using the energy balance method. This is also very important. River migration, हमारे ध्यान में होगा कि बहुत सारी जो flood prone rivers होती हैं, all the rivers they change their course. They change their course frequently after the flood. It is necessary to understand the behavior of the river. So, behavior of river को हम कैसे understand करेंगे? If these rivers are being mapped. Conventional technologies क्या थी? कि हम field mapping से इन rivers को map किया जाता था. Field mapping होती थी. These were not cost effective, time effective also. The mapping of river configuration and flood control works of river can be mapped with the high resolution data, and the NRSE, Government of India, is taking all these initiatives based on the user needs. Now let us come to groundwater. Now, directly on the groundwater. What is groundwater? Now it is something which is residing beneath the soil surface in a permeable rock. There are two kinds of rocks. Permeability आप समझते हैं. There are permeable rocks and impermeable rocks. Permeable ones which allow the water to reside in that. They have a capacity. So it is residing beneath the soil surface in a permeable rock, clay and sand it is covered with. There are many aquifers which extend hundreds of feet underground, and in some instances they are filled with water over the course of thousands of years. It takes thousands of years for the groundwater to replenish. आप सोच सकते हैं groundwater renewable resource है, वो replenishable है, but how much time it takes for that replenishment? Groundwater comes from natural percolation of precipitation and other surface waters which is accumulating in aquifers, layers of porous rocks. जो rocks का structure है, they have to be porous, it has to be gravel. In some of these, the water may be thousands of years, and in others, water level decline and rise again naturally each other. Depending upon हमारी surface, subsurface topography क्या है, groundwater इस तरह से behave करता है. But groundwater do not respond changes in weather as rapidly in lake, stream, and river. So therefore, when groundwater is pumped for irrigation, recharge to the original level can take many months or many years. So these are the major groundwater issues. कि एक तो उसकी replenishment में बहुत ज़्यादा time लगता है, और हम उसको बिना विचारे the groundwater is continuously being overexploited. ना पंजाब में तो जैसा कि मैंने पहले बताया, the situation is very alarming, and there is contamination, both geogenic, anthropogenic. There is availability in limited quantity and sustainability in hard rock areas. There is less recharge potential. There is less resource availability. There is underutilization in some parts of our country also, that is in the northeastern states. There are problems of waterlogging. There are problems of salinity. There is a problem of intense extraction in urban areas, and yes, climate also has a role to play in groundwater regime. This is the present groundwater resource availability with us. Now, so you can see all these red areas. These are overexploited areas which all fall in the part of northwestern India, traversing the plains of Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, and the west of Uttar Pradesh as well. And these are the annual replenishable resources. This data is easily available in आप गूगल भी करेंगे तो ये डेटा आपको बहुत इजीली अवेलेबल हो जाएगा कि हम किस कैटेगरी में कितना पानी को यूज करते हैं, क्या हमारी अवेलेबिलिटी है, और कितने हमारे एक्विफर्स ओवर एक्सप्लॉइटेड है. Now, NASA satellites, they have unlocked the secret of northern India's vanishing water. This map is categorically showing you the withdrawal percentage of groundwater recharge. It is based on state level estimate of annual withdrawal and recharge, and this is being reported by India's Ministry of Water. So GRACE क्या करता है? GRACE is the satellite gravity recovery and climate experiment. It monitors changes in underground water masses which affect the gravity enough to provide a signal such that changes in gravity can be translated into a measurement of an equivalent change in water. इतना पानी आप उसमें से extract कर लेते हैं that changes in gravity are being reflected underground. इतना change है उसमें, अगर 1 सेंटीमीटर भी withdrawal है तो आप उसका वॉल्यूम सोच सकते हैं कि वो उसकी पूरी ग्रेविटी को इन्फ्लुएंस करता है, and that gravity can be measured by this gravity recovery and climate experiment, which is a joint venture of NASA and the University of California, and they have confirmed across the world, they have confirmed that how groundwater is depleted at a very fast pace. And when we are talking about the northwestern India, the withdrawal rate is very high as compared to other parts of the globe. Statistics further reveal that 54% of 4,000 measured wells, they are experiencing decline. Now, situation is very alarming. It calls for appropriate groundwater management through uniform approach of integrated geospatial technology, computing and modeling structures. This is renewable resource. अगर हम इसको locate कर लें, अच्छे से map कर लें और उसकी exploitation और management को carefully plan करें, then this groundwater can sustain forever. We have to work for this. Geospatial technologies have a lot to do in this because they are helping in groundwater quality assessment, they are helping in groundwater vulnerability assessment, they are helping in developing groundwater management strategies as well. वो किस तरह से help करती हैं? क्योंकि the vulnerability assessment में potential zones की अगर हम assessment की बात करें, all the parameters on which these are dependent upon, these can be easily retrieved from remote sensing data. Some of the data can be collected from various nodal agencies, and this can be very systematically organized in the GIS environment, and we can work on the proper management of resources. तो क्या issues हैं ground water management के? Main issues quantity है और दूसरा issue quality है. Quantity की जब हम बात करते हैं तो हम बात करते हैं estimation of potential groundwater zones की और aquifer recharge की, और जब हम quality की बात करते हैं तो हम vulnerability assessment की बात करते हैं और ground water quality maps की भी बात करते हैं. So all these can be mapped in the GIS environment with the help of remote sensing. जैसे कि मैंने शुरू में ही आपको explain किया that basically I am not a hydrogeologist, ना, but yes, through the team of my research people and the various colleagues, we have developed interest in these groundwater analytics. So I'm just trying to share with you that what kind of works are being done, are in progress through the research team. The one is the study of paleo river networks and morphotectonics of parts of northwestern India using remote sensing, sedimentology and groundwater analytics. One of the group is working on land use pattern and its impact on groundwater prospects in the Gurugram area, and one of the co-organizers of this program also, he is working on categorically the spatial and temporal analysis of groundwater quality using GIS in Ludhiana district. I'm talking about Dipinder, that who is working comprehensively in this area. Now, so let me give you the brief about all these works. सबसे पहले मैंने आपको बताया that we are working on, that we are working on study of paleo river network and morphotectonics. अगर नॉर्थ वेस्टर्न इंडिया की बात करें तो we are working on these paleo channels. Paleo channels क्या होते हैं ना? आपके सामने एक इमेज भी दिखाई दे रही है आपको. अगर कोई रिमोट सेंसिंग का स्टूडेंट है तो वो उसको बहुत इजीली डिसाइफर कर पाएगा. थोड़ा सा मैं आपको यहाँ पर एक्सप्लेन करने की अदरवाइज कोशिश करूंगी. Paleo channel क्या होता है? A channel which is no longer a part of an active river system. Paleo, it is old. At one time, in the one time of history, it was a channel. No, it was an active channel, but now it has ceased to be conduit of water and is commonly now referred as a paleo channel. When does it occur? कब बनते हैं paleo channel? अगर कोई भी मेन स्ट्रीम से निकलकर वो एक उसका सोर्स कट हो जाए ना. अगर रिवर की बहुत सारी ट्रिब्यूटरीज होती हैं, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटरीज होती हैं, अगर जो मेन रिवर है वो अपना पानी का स्रोत बंद कर देगी तो उसका कंड्यूट वहां से बंद हो जाएगा और वो पानी और वो जो चैनल एक टाइम पर एक्टिव था वो अबंडन हो जाएगा ना. उसको इट विल नो लॉन्गर इट विल बी सर्व्ड बाय वाटर. तो वो पेलियो चैनल हो जाएगा बिकॉज वो विद टाइम इट विल ड्राई अप. ऐसी सिचुएशन कब आती है? या तो उसके रीजंस टेक्टोनिक होते हैं या फिर सीवियर फ्लड्स हो या न्यू रिवर ने, जैसे मैंने पिछली स्लाइड्स में आपको दिखाया, फ्लड टाइम में रिवर बहुत जगह से मेंडर करते हुए अपने चैनल्स को चेंज कर लेती है. Now some of the paleo channels, they bury under younger sediments. They are commonly occurring landforms in alluvial landscapes and have an economic significance because जो वन टाइम रिवर थी, अब जिसकी टोपोग्राफी ये अलाउ कर रही है पानी को स्टोर करने, जिसकी जियोलॉजी ऐसी है जो पानी को स्टोर कर सकती है, अगर हम उन पेलियो चैनल्स को रिट्रीव कर पाते हैं तो आप सोच सकते हैं, आप इमेजिन कर सकते हैं कि वो कितना वास्ट एक रिसोर्स होगा फॉर द ग्राउंड वाटर, फॉर द फ्रेश वाटर रिसोर्स. So this is about the paleo channel. All these dark patches here I am showing you, these are all showing जो उसकी सरफेस पे जो टोपोग्राफी, जियोमॉर्फोलॉजिकल फीचर्स होते हैं वो भी इसको इंडिकेट करते हैं. सो दीज आर द darkened portions are the remnants of a paleo channel. The significance of a paleo channel is, yes, this typically acts as a pathway for groundwater movement. It provides a potential source of groundwater. Their presence can be helpful in identifying areas which are suitable for recharge and at times in mitigating contamination problems in afflicted regions as well. So it is very, very important to map the paleo channel for the planning and management of groundwater resources. So what is the significance of study which we are concentrating on? Northwestern India. Now, Northwestern India had been the topic of interest also and debate also amongst various researchers, amongst many state central government departments. The main river of this is the search for Vedic Saraswati River. Now, it is important to study this area because we believe that it can be the potential source for groundwater exploration, for recharge and for flood relief as well. It is very important because it can renovate, it can restore the historical sites, and it has a lot of scope in the development of tourism as well. It has a scope for excavation of new archaeological sites and understanding the Vedic cultural heritage as well. So this definitely needs protection, conservation and regulation. I don't know why it keeps moving, keeps moving back. So this is one slide which is showing you that this is the probable region right from Harikudun glaciers to the northwestern Rajasthan se lekar Pakistan tak. This is the lost river basin which was between the Indus and Ganges river system. And according to our Rig Vedas, the name of the river was River Channel was Saraswati River. And the area which it spanned, the Saraswati River was spanning, according to the literature, according to our Vedic text, it is the plains of Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Gujarat, और फिर वो रन ऑफ कच्छ से लेकर the parts of Pakistan as well. What is this issue? What is the methodology which we are following to achieve this? The data is being retrieved from various satellites. We are trying to explore with IRC List3 data had been used by the KJRI, that is ISRO, PAN data, SRTM data, Landsat TM, ETM data, and these data, remote sensing data is being utilized. It has been retrieved for the mapping of paleo channels. People are trying to have already established the study on the basis of archaeological data, which is available in their states, which has been plotted on the GIS environment. Archaeological data of archaeological sites are overlaid on paleo channels which are being mapped. The correlation is established between the paleo channel and the Harappan and the pre-Harappan sites. ना हमारे ध्यान में होगा कि जितनी भी civilizations हैं old, वो rivers के along रहती थी, ना तो जितनी archaeological sites हैं राजस्थान एरिया में मिली हैं, गुजरात एरिया में मिली हैं. Even I'm going to show you the slides of Punjab and Haryana. Those sites, the map of position of those maps has been placed or in the GIS environment around the paleo channels, and the analysis has been done. There is a ground exploratory drilling data. This is done in collaboration with Central Groundwater Board. उन्होंने इन पेलियो चैनल्स के अलॉन्ग बहुत सारी ड्रिलिंग की है. ग्राउंड वाटर इज बीन एक्सप्लोर्ड और उस ग्राउंड वाटर के एज के सैंपल्स बाद में टेस्ट किए गए हैं. This is further been corroborated with old maps of India which had been prepared during 1400 and 1700 AD by the British authors, by the Dutch, by the Italians. And yes, definitely this study is being helped out with further established with the current terrain studies. What are the current terrain conditions by the field, extensive field mapping and groundwater quality data along these channels. तो पेलियो चैनल जो कनेक्ट वाटर है, डेफिनेटली उसका क्वालिटी इट हैज टू बी वेरी वेरी बेटर. इट हैज टू बी the water has to be sweet along the channels if the water belongs to the paleo channels. So this kind of methodology is being adopted to achieve the results. These are the old civilization sites along the Saraswati river channel. आप देख सकते हैं ये जितना भी ये पर्पल एरिया है, ये सैटेलाइट के माध्यम से इस पेलियो चैनल्स को मैप किया गया है. ये जो डॉट्स हैं, बड़े बड़े डॉट्स हैं, ये हड़प्पन साइट्स हैं, प्री हड़प्पन साइट्स भी हैं. बहुत सारी डेट्स, दे आर डेटेड मच बियॉन्ड 5000 इयर्स आल्सो ना, इसलिए उसकी एग्जैक्ट उसमें आना. दिस इज द पेलियो चैनल बेसिन इन राजस्थान. यू सी सच एन एनास्टोमोस पेलियो चैनल स्ट्रक्चर. ये जितना भी ब्लैक पोर्शन है, and this is the exact course where through the text it was believed that Saraswati was flowing. Corn-cob structures. This is a typical of fluvial geomorphology. जहाँ जहाँ रिवर ट्रैवर्स करती है, इस तरह से जैसे छल्ली का स्ट्रक्चर होता है ना, कॉब उसका, इस तरह का फ्लूवियल स्ट्रक्चर वो पैटर्न बना के छोड़ती है. तो थ्रू द सैटेलाइट्स these corn-cob structures had been mapped, and yes, this is a paleo channel also is being mapped along this corn-cob structure through various remote sensing techniques by ना, जितनी भी उसकी प्रोसेसिंग टेक्निक्स हैं, लिनियरमेंट एनहांसमेंट है, हिस्टोग्राम इक्वलाइजेशन है ना. थ्रू ऑल दीज टेक्निक्स पीपल हैव ट्राइड टू मैप वेरियस काइंड ऑफ दीज लोकेशंस ना. अभी मैं आपको दिखाऊंगी इन द पंजाब एरिया आल्सो दीज आर बीन मैप्ड नियर द रोपड़ एरिया. दिस इज द पेलियो चैनल मैप व्हिच ऑफ द कंप्लीट रीजन right from the glacier from where it was being fed upon, Mansarovar Lake, Hariketun Glacier, and this is how it traversed. This is the list 3 image on which these are being delineated, and these are the major rivers and paleo channels in map in the state of Punjab. तो ये जितने भी channels हैं, ये सतलुज के पेलियो चैनल्स इस टाइम पर ये सतलुज रिवर सिस्टम को बिलोंग करते हैं. एंड दीज आर द आर्कियोलॉजिकल साइट्स, मेजर रिवर्स एंड पेलियो चैनल्स इन पंजाब. उनका क्या रिलेशन है इन पेलियो चैनल्स में, हाउ क्लोज दे आर टू दिस. द स्टडी इज स्टिल अंडर प्रोग्रेस. दिस इमेज विथ इमेजेस शोइंग 81 हड़प्पन साइट्स along the Ghaggar river, गंगानगर के पास में. It is showing 81 Harappan sites along this Ghaggar river, which is believed to be, now it is a seasonal river, but it is believed to be the remnant and a part of Saraswati river system only. So this is the comprehensive association of the river and the archaeological sites in the northwestern India. आप बहुत अच्छे से इसको एनालाइज कर सकते हैं कि जहां जहां पर इसको मैप किया गया है, जो उसका पोटेंशियल पाथ है, उसके अलॉन्ग देयर हैड बीन द सिविलाइजेशंस, प्री हड़प्पन सिविलाइजेशंस dwelled upon the banks of this river. सेंट्रल ग्राउंड वाटर बोर्ड ने राजस्थान का जो सेंट्रल ग्राउंड वाटर बोर्ड का चैप्टर है, उन्होंने इन सभी वेल्स बहुत सारे साइट्स पर उन्होंने ड्रिलिंग की. There are 8 or 16, there are 24 drilling wells along the banks of this, along these paleo channels, and this is the kind of data which has been produced by them, tube well data. और आप देख सकते हैं the aquifer material जितना भी है सारी जगहों का, it is fine grain sand, medium grain, medium to coarse, ना, और जो उनकी डेप्थ है 125 मीटर, 151 मीटर, and the static water level is this, and quality is also very potable, which further tells that the research is in the Rajasthan area is going in the right direction. When the age was calculated of these connate waters, you see 1900, before past 6190, 4390, 9630, 4960. That age of Saraswati groundwater is 1340 to 12400 before present. So what were the reasons attributed for the disappearance of Saraswati? There are number of reasons. Yes, tectonic disturbances which caused due to the geological processes, upliftment of Himalayas, Aravallis. There is a story of piracy of Saraswati river. जो जितना भी ये सतलुज में का डिफ्लेक्शन है जहाँ से हो रहा है, I am going to show you this in slide also, that how Satluj deflected and it was pirated with the water of another river, and definitely there had been reasons which owe to the climatic conditions as well. This is the list 3 image which is showing you the sudden deflection of Satluj river near Ropar. किस तरह से उसने अपने चैनल को remnants, the channels have been left along. This is the paleo channel ना सतलुज river को जो belong करते हैं, and it appears that earlier it used to flow in this particular direction, and because of various reasons यहाँ पर हम we are planning कि geophysical investigation से with the help of GPRs and all we shall be trying to unearth the geological faults as well, जहाँ से हमें और इस study को complement कर सकते हैं reasons that how the water might have been pirated. So these are the various Satluj paleo channels along the Ropar, Sarhand, Rajpura sections which are being mapped by IRS, na? And a number of people from Harsak, chapter Hisar, now located at Panchkula, and the people from our research team as well. So there are clear signals of paleo channels in the satellite imagery in the form of very powerful continuous drainage system in the northwestern region. Occurrence of archaeological sites of pre-Harappan, Harappan, post-Harappan ages, they beyond doubt, they indicate the existence of mighty paleo drainage system of the Vedic times in this region. Now, and the description, magnanimity of these channels matches with our ancient wisdom, which is described in the Vedic literature as well. Given the magnitude of the findings, the scholars like Dr. Kasturi Rangan, Dr. Karan, they had suggested the Ministry of Culture to examine the text, the review of the work, and the work done by ISRO to prove the course of river Saraswati as well. So how this study can be helpful in groundwater management? This study will help in delineating these paleo channels, will help in identify potential sources of groundwater, exploration, recharge, and flood relief. Their presence can be helpful in identifying areas which are suitable for recharge and at times in mitigation contamination problems. Mapping is very significant in planning and management of groundwater resources. This is very unfortunate कि एक situation हमारे पास flood like आती है और एक situation हमारे पास drought की आती है. जब बारिश आती है तो हम उस पानी को manage नहीं कर पाते हैं, और जब drought होता है तो you all know that how people suffer, especially the farmers, they do suffer, ना? तो अगर हम इन सारे के channels को retrieve कर पाते हैं, if the projects of interlinking of rivers it is successfully go ahead, ना? तो व्हाट विल हैपन, जितना भी एक्स्ट्रा पानी है, जो ये पेलियो चैनल्स भी हैं और जितने हमारी सीजनल रिवर्स भी हैं, अगर हम उनकी तरफ उनको डायरेक्ट करते हैं थ्रू दिस प्रोजेक्ट, it would be the great development in the field of management of groundwater. So there are many people from the west as well. They are now interested. They have developed their interest in this study in the large scale multi-temporal remote sensing of Pelio River networks, which has its implications for the Indus civilization also. So how do we do this? How do we project the groundwater? How do we work for the aquifer replenishment? अगर हम टेक्स्ट बुक की अंडरस्टैंडिंग की बात करें, तो what we need to do is we need to identify, calculate usable aquifer reserves. We need to adopt measures to restore depleting aquifers. We need to understand the lineament pattern of the study. Lineaments जो कि एक straight linear elements होते हैं, वो rivers का course भी straight हो सकता है, वो mountain ridges भी हो सकते हैं, कोई भी topography ना drainage patterns हो सकते हैं. So the presence of lineament in any region, these can be important in determining the occurrence of groundwater. So these lineaments can easily be mapped with the help of remote sensing data. Presence of these lineaments, they are indicative of groundwater flow in fractured aquifers, and these are targeted for locating production wells. तो जैसे फॉल्स होते हैं, फ्रैक्चर्स होते हैं, shear zones, dikes, veins, stratigraphic contacts, ना, the contact between the two rock types, lithological unconformity contacts, bedding planes, these all features indicate subsurface faults and fractures, and they might influence the presence of groundwater because they act as a reservoir, canal, conductor, and they control the regional flow of subsurface water. तो अगर हम इन सभी पैरामीटर्स को आइडेंटिफाई कर पाए, आइडेंटिफाई करके हम इसको रिमोट सेंसिंग पर मैप कर पाए, तो हम बहुत सारे मेथड्स के साथ अगर हम इन सारी थीमेटिक लेयर्स को प्रिपेयर कर लेते हैं, लिथोलॉजी, जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी, स्लोप लिनियमेंट, लैंड यूज, ड्रेनेज डेंसिटी, देन बाय यूजिंग द वेरियस मेथड्स, है ना, बाय द वेरियस मेथड्स दीज कैन बी इंटीग्रेटेड एंड वी कैन assess the groundwater, and we can prepare the groundwater potential map for any area. For any area we can move ahead with. So maps of potential zones and artificial recharge sites are then prepared by calculating the computed weight. The किस पैरामीटर को कितना वेटेज देना है, that is very important to understand. कि कौन सा पैरामीटर ग्राउंड वाटर के लिए कितना पोटेंशियली इफेक्ट कर सकता है, एंड दोज पैरामीटर्स आर टू बी इंटीग्रेटेड, एंड बाय द मेथड ऑफ ओवरले एनालिसिस, एनालिटिकल हायरार्की प्रोसेस, फजी लॉजिक टेक्निक आल्सो, विद ऑल दीज statistical techniques, the data can be compiled in this GIS environment. Groundwater vulnerability assessments can be done. We all know that groundwater gets polluted through contaminants, which infiltrates into soil from waste disposal, in dump yards, discharge of toxic effluents from industries, or release of chemicals to agricultural activities. It can be the use of fertilizers, insecticides. So this volume of water that is contaminated at an alarming rise due to the increase in population and industrial waste, it can mix with other water resources, it can contaminate them as well, and upon seepage into water, it contaminates the underground water resources. So इसकी मैनेजमेंट करने के लिए कौन हमें pollute कर रहा है, we have to map these contaminants as well. So we will be mapping these contaminants, and which will be helping in further groundwater vulnerability assessment. जैसे गंगा परियोजना में, गंगा क्लीनिंग मिशन में, हालांकि it is going at a slow pace, like it is not going at an expected pace, but still they are trying to managing and mapping all the drainages, all the channels from where it is being affecting it. कौन सी इंडस्ट्रीज कहाँ से नाले की फॉर्म में वहां पर एड ऑन हो रही है ना, तो So mapping of these contaminants is very, very important and very, very significant for groundwater vulnerability assessment. There are number of methods, overlay and index method. There is a drastic method, there is a GORD method, there is aquifer vulnerability index method, there is a UK vulnerability index method. ये सभी जो methods हैं vulnerability assessment में, they are taking into account parameters like overall aquifer class, groundwater occurrence and depth to water level, hydraulic gradient, hydraulic conductivity. There is a little difference for assigning suitable weights and numerical indices in each of these, but yes, these are successful models which are being developed by researchers from various countries, और बहुत सारे लोग इस पे एक्सपेरिमेंट भी कर रहे हैं और इसको काम कर रहे हैं इसके ऊपर for the vulnerability assessment. So there are two kind of models in this. One is deterministic and other is statistical. Deterministic methods जो होते हैं वो assess करते हैं, they assess the vulnerability of groundwater. They require good geochemical, hydrogeological database, and mathematical models are developed for simulation of phenomena of flow and contaminant transport. Statistical methods में deterministic methods से बहुत ज़्यादा comprehensive, extensive database होता है, and it helps in identifying the priority pollutant for monitoring this. This is coupled with the organic carbon partition coefficient and half-life, which helps in calculating the vulnerability to groundwater. For the estimation of expected risk to groundwater contamination on regional scale, there are number of other elements of index methods which can be combined with other informations like land use, land cover and contaminant loading. ना तो ये अलग-अलग statistical methods, these are being evolved, right? But the main is the mapping has to be accurate. जो आप thematic data layers उसमें generate करेंगे, those have to be very, very accurate, and the quality is to be assured, because उसी database के analysis पे your model will be achieving the results. So this is one flow chart of telling that how groundwater vulnerability is being assessed by various methods. Groundwater quality index, very, very important. The water quality parameters like chlorophyll, suspended particles, turbidity, temperature, these can easily be monitored. These can be monitored with high resolution optical and thermal sensor on satellite. और जो बाकी जितने भी parameters हैं उनका laboratory testing के लिए हमें जाना पड़ता है. For assessing the waterway, we need the integrated management of remote sensing data. We need to have global positioning system, and we need to have in the end इन सारी की सारी चीजों को handle करने के लिए हमें जरूरत है geographical information system की, so that future comparisons can be made and we can work for management of natural resources. To assess the physico-chemical parameters and heavy metal concentration of water resources, and to check the effectiveness of water treatment and supply by the concerned authority, these parameters are made by Bureau of Indian Standards. तो Bureau of Indian Standards को हम एक standard use करके उसको comparison में लेकर we measure the values and we give the weightage, and I hope we are not running short of time. Yes.
You can continue as you wish.
जी. Now, I think just few more slides. मैं quickly इसको finish करती हूँ. This is a case study of Ludhiana, where a faculty from your esteemed institute only is working on this. Dapinder Deep Singh, to be a doctorate in Dapinder Deep, is working in the Ludhiana area, and he has tried to assess the groundwater quality of this Ludhiana region. You can see here, groundwater samples from 99 locations have been collected using grid-based sampling procedure. He analyzed these samples for various factors like pH, total hardness, total dissolved solids, magnesium, calcium, potassium, bicarbonate, sulfate. And then after, the thematic layers of all these parameters were generated in ArcGIS, and then these were interpolated using the invert distance weighted approach interpolation technique. And in this technique, on the basis of measured values, nearby missing values are calculated. The prediction location values are more influenced by the measured values that are more close to them. So there are various number of modeling techniques as well, interpolation techniques as well. Like here, he has used IDW, we have kriging, we have co-kriging. WQI involves, normally it is involving 3 steps. All the parameters are assigned some weight from the range of 0 to 5. Then the unit weight for each parameter is calculated by using this proportionality constant and by using this standard potential of ith parameter. इसके table से आपको clarity हो जाएगी. And then the quality rating of each parameter is assigned by the concentration in each water sample by its respective standard according to the guidelines laid down by BIS. And then finally, water quality index is being calculated by the summation of these weights. From this table, I think you will have more clarity on this. This is the summation of weights, this is the unit weight, and these are the BIS standards. And these are the weights which are being assigned. So this is how thematic layers of various parameters are being prepared, and this is the water quality index map of Ludhiana region. और इसको 4 classes में divide किया गया. We got the values right from less than 25 to 100. और उसकी जो high range values हैं उनको जब classify किया गया, this blue area it is telling you unsuitable for drinking. The pink area it is telling you very poor water quality. The red area is again poor water quality, and the yellow region which is a good quality, now which you cannot see here. So the map clearly indicates that around 60% of the study area it is under the category of poor water quality. 40% is unsuitable. Now, so what is left? So entire region has been found to be very hard in terms of potability. So parameters like TDS, fluoride, magnesium, all these exceed the permissible limit. Now this, most of this study is being done in lab as well. But now you can see the strength of geospatial technologies, that how easy it is to understand these parameters in the form of map. How easy it is easy for us to understand that which areas are more vulnerable and which areas are safe for drinking. ना अगर बहुत सारा cumbersome statistical data आपके सामने रहेगा, तो वो planning के लिए, management के लिए it becomes very tedious to work on that kind of data. So I'm coming to the concluding remarks. Yes, the issue is quality and quantity. This is the major issue of concern across the globe. The course and extent of groundwater pollution, it can be determined by geospatial technologies. Hydrogeological GIS database, groundwater modeling, they have lot of potential for groundwater analytics or smart cities. I'm using this term again and again for the researchers because this area has lot of scope to work on. ना जैसे हम smart cities concept की ओर बढ़ रहे हैं, we have to work on it. Actually हमारे पास और कोई रास्ता नहीं है. So it will be good if researchers they come into this, क्योंकि real data it comes through a good quality research. Remote sensing, geospatial technology, GIS are essential for process-based models, maps of statistical data, pumping rate allocations, which are needed for allowing the view of the aquifer behavior. Stress factors are involved. The connection between all these is easily made with the help of recorded data and statistical procedures. And not to forget, aquifer vulnerability studies can be performed using all these data. Using all this. Now, बाकी ये सब कुछ technology is there, but this technology will not be of help if there is no public awareness. regarding judicious use of groundwater resources. We have to save them from contamination. ये नहीं है कि ओवर एक्सप्लॉयटेशन चलता रहे, pollution चलता रहे, contamination चलता रहे. We have to save it. It is very important. It becomes imperative that the technical administrative team work in collaboration to make people aware. Sensitization is must. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, हम बात कर रहे हैं ओवर एक्सप्लॉयटेशन नहीं होना चाहिए, and we are not taking care of the over exploitation of water in our individual regimes. हम घर में ही उसका over exploitation नहीं रोक पा रहे हैं ना. So we need to sensitize ourselves for the cause and sensitize the society for this to ensure the city accomplish the goals of a smart city. Social awareness of this use, judicious use, analyzing the water requirement versus availability, promoting rainwater harvesting is very, very important. This is a global issue. It requires more vigilant approach in the exploitation and protection of the groundwater resources. And yes, the convergence of technologies, all the technologies can help us achieving our goal. With these words, I am ending my talk. I hope it made some sense to you guys. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak on this platform. However, I'm not very happy because my video is not accessible here.
So ma'am, we can try it now.
हाँ, अभी कोई रिस्क नहीं है तो मैं
So thank you ma'am, thanks a lot for delivering such a nice and wonderful presentation to our audience. So participants, if you have any queries, please you can discuss with ma'am. Anyone who wants to ask some question related to geospatial techniques?
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. I am Itandas from West Bengal. Ma'am, I do not understand the slide number 55. That is, there are some remote sensing techniques are there.
Can you please repeat which slide do you want me to go on?
Ma'am, slide number 55, 55.
55. Just a minute. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What do you want to know about this?
Ma'am, ma'am, you are telling that age uncorrected. I do not understand that part. That is age uncorrected before past 1900 for well type DW. That is depth well, I think. Ma'am, I don't understand the this part.
Yeah.
That is age uncorrected.
This is the data of the various groundwater samples which are being collected from the wells of Jaisalmer district. These samples were analyzed by BARC. These samples were analyzed by, this is telling you they have tried to analyze the age of that by radioactive methods. Now, that age is uncorrected because the people, that age is not the correct one. Getting the accurate dating is very difficult. Now, so this is 1900, it is the estimated date with the whatever the minerals are present in that. That what is the half-life of that. So it's 1900 years before past, 4390, before present. This is the likely date कि 1340 से लेकर 12,000. This is a big range which is being given by them. Huh? What they wanted to show that this water is not fresh. This water is of the age ranging from 1340 years to 10400 for present, right? This is the Pearson model which is being taken by them. आप इसको बात
Yes, ma'am. It is clear, ma'am. Ma'am, another questions I have that ma'am, by help of a remote sensing software, how can we estimate or how can we direct a course of a river that has been flow in earlier times?
देखिए दो तरह का इसके there can be two answers to this. One is that we are trying to map the river with the help of remote sensing data, ना, which is already available. जो surface पर है we can map that with the help of satellite में वो clearly उसका distinction होता है with the help of supervised classification, unsupervised classification, coupling with the field studies that can be mapped. Now, if you don't have that, what are the indirect methods for that? For that, you have to go for the drainage, hydrological modeling. आपके पास SRTM data available रहते हैं, which are freely downloadable also from the site of GLCF. आपके पास कार्टो, अभी तो इंडिया के पास कार्टो से DM data है, तो उस DM data से the slope, the aspect, the drainage density, the flow accumulation, the flow direction, all these parameters can be retrieved. तो जहां जहां पर flow accumulation और flow density ज्यादा आएगी, वो automatically वो जो points हैं आप उसको extract कर सकते हैं, and that will coincide with the path of any surface water accumulation. तो अगर वो continuity में होंगे, तो that will show you the path of river as well. This can be done in any software. Even आपके जो freely available open source softwares हैं, Ilvis is very good in this. Even this, I'm missing the name. Even GeoMedia Professional and one more which is freely downloadable. Many people are doing wonderful work on that itself. ना open softwares में भी ये सारा काम जो drainage को retrieve करने का है, river को map करने का है. ArcGIS has a powerful extension of this hydrogeological modeling, na? Automated modeling. Yes.
Audience, anyone else?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Participants, anyone else? If you have any query, you can ask. So, ma'am, I think we must conclude now.
ठीक है sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity to interact with your elite class, with your students as well as faculty members.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, at the end, I would like to thank Dr. Mukta Sharma as she has delivered such a wonderful talk to all of us. So she has explained us the importance of water in every minute detail, then how we are exploiting our water resources, due to which the need of water resources management rises, and we have to explore different potential sources of groundwater exploration, and how these geospatial techniques can be helpful to us in different vulnerability models. And with the help of these geospatial techniques, we can also maintain the record of water quality parameters. So these geospatial techniques are really going to be helpful to us in the very near future. And one of my colleagues, Mr. Dipinder Deep Singh, is working on this under the guidance of ma'am, Dr. Mukta Sharma, for his doctoral research. So he is also doing a very good work related to this field. So I once again thank ma'am a lot for her contribution to this FDP. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, participants. So we will again rejoin at 2:30. So once we will have to leave this meeting, and again we will rejoin a little prior to 2:30 p.m. Thank you all. Thank you.